Welcome to Season 2 of Confessions of an SEO. This is Carolyn Holzman, and I'm still your host. This is going to be the safe space where we talk about all things around the business end of SEO, the people part, from someone who's been there on both sides, an independent local business owner and a professional SEO. So just in case, don't blink, because there might be a few tactical surprises tucked in where you least expect them to be. The short version of Confessions is, if you're an SEO, this is all for you. And if you're a business owner, this is my effort to help you understand better how to hold an SEO accountable without micromanaging. All right, this is Season 2, and I trust everyone is getting back to their sea legs and ready to move into 2022. Over the holidays, after last week's episode and a discussion with data expert, I decided it was time to adjust the daily commitment to the Index Detector Report. So I'm going to share today what I'm going to take out of the daily portion of the project and let you know that moving forward, the test will continue. I'm just modifying how often I publish the test pages. Instead of it being 7 days a week, it's going to be 3, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. At least that's until Google starts indexing like they used to. So you can always check the data like you have been doing previously, and the test is ongoing, and it will be public, except it will give me the weekends off as an option. And that, my friends, is how self-care works. Just so you know, I'm not done with the index detector because, like I say, it'll still be public. I will be moving into some private indexation tests. I'm not going to publish them, so publicly as this one. And I'm thinking for those listeners who are at this sponsor level of support for Confessions, that those folks are likely going to get first access to what I'm finding. And while I'm not going to share everything I'm testing, I just wanted to make sure that, if I find something really useful, that I just think it's only fair the sponsors would be the first ones to know. So if you want to be a sponsor and you want to know the good stuff on indexation before anybody else does, you're welcome to sign up. Anything from the second level or higher will be on that share list. And the link to sponsor will be in the description, and I'll mention it again at the end. What did I learn from this daily, nonstop, 126-day experiment? Well, I learned maybe not just cavalierly go into them. There are a lot of responsibility. All right. First, what do we have? Seriously. All right. After the 126 days, I would say that we have a fairly decent body of proof, not anecdotes, but real live data that for this period of time, that Google does not demonstrate any priority to index new content. I know that's not a surprise, but hey, we've never really had data before on something like this that I'm aware of. Now, initially, we're told by Google Webmaster Guidelines that when we have new content, that we do certain things to it. And it's my opinion that based on what we see so far, that primarily that content is out of date, that it doesn't work that way anymore. And that's the most charitable way I can describe it. If I were not being charitable, I might just call it lies. I think we can all agree, and the data does sort of substantiate that the threshold for indexation has changed for new content. Now, the why they could have done that, I've discussed that in previous shows, and I've run the gamut from maybe they just kind of can't wrap their hands around it anymore. It might be broken. It might be possibly, even a happy accident. Something broke, their revenue went up, and they're just not incentivized to fix it. All right, now let's go back to the beginning of last year. All those updates, they started in January and a couple more in the early spring, and then they went all summer long. And literally, I think they didn't take a breath, until Christmas Eve. And then it all kicked up again. When we go back and look at the topics that were being discussed, mobile first indexing was a big thing. Then it was Core Web Vitals. That was going to be the next big thing. And it was going to be the big thing by June 15th. And then it became July 15th. And then it became, well, we'll be lucky if we get it out by the end of August. And then quietly, ever so quietly, they announced that, and this would have been in November, that there's no longer a deadline on the mobile first indexing because guess what? Our sites, yours and mine, are the reason why they just simply can't get mobile first indexing work. Isn't this lovely? You can find this all online, by the way. I'm not making it up. And please don't believe me. Just go look it up yourself. It does beg the question. I'm going to go on a teensy tiny little rant. They could be desiring more ad revenue. Last year's third quarter compared to the previous year's third quarter, we found out that the search part of Google, aka the paid ads, grew faster in revenue than any of the other divisions at Google by the tune of $11 billion. That's billion with a B. In short, basically, if there is anybody that's going to make any money off of Google, it's going to be Google. Not you, business owner, who goes to those free Google work sessions to learn how to get free traffic. And not you, SEO agency, especially not you. All right, I will come off the rant now. We can sort of say we have some data that would hold for the statement that the threshold for indexation of new content has changed. And there's a few more things that I noticed with this project. I'm not saying that I discovered them. I just think that we haven't really had the need to parse these things out because it's just always worked, right? So when things stop working, we're all, it's somebody's got something going on. So I want to say that I've seen three types of crawls. There's a refresh crawl, and that would be recrawling a page that is already indexed. There's a discovery crawl, which just pulls the HTML of the page, and I kind of see those as just regular old crawls. And a discovery crawl, and this pulls, I should say, a discovery rendering crawl, and this pulls that HTML of the page, the media, the scripts, everything, and the robots text file. So when a page is in the index, what a refresh crawl looks like is you request indexation through Search Console, and you can go to your server logs and you see that literally the minute you requested it, that bot was there. And you can see it because it'll say google.com/bot.html in your logs. Now, when a page, now that's for a page that's in the index. There's another state of a page, and it's called in the cache. Now, if you go into Search Console and you ask Google, tell me the history of this page, it'll tell you it's on Google, but you can't pull it up by a keyword. When you go there, you can't find it. But it's definitely in their index. So when that's the case, the same thing happens. You request the indexation again, and a bot comes. Even though you can't find that page on Google, it will go there and recrawl that page. Now that's a refresh recrawl. Now, when you do this for a page that is not in the cache, a discovery crawl does not automatically occur when you request it. And this is the new content indexation threshold that I've been referring to. So I suppose, when I first started this test, there were a lot of people that really pushed back in a nice way. I don't mean in a mean way. In a very nice way, sort of like, well, your content must suck because I'm getting indexation. So I think there are two things at play that make both of those statements possible to be true at the same time. It's a relatively new thing, like I said, to characterize content as already in the index, but needs refreshing, and actually new content that needs it all the way from the beginning, the indexation. If we weren't having this problem with indexation, we wouldn't have had to make that distinction. And so we're not used to making that distinction. And second of all, I do think that for certain sites, the indexation threshold is different than compared to new sites. I don't really know what they are yet. I surmise some of them, but it's one thing to run your mouth off. It's another thing to run a test and sort of discover what these are. And so I do think that these sites, I'm going to use the word stronger sites, okay? I don't mean that a DA or a page authority or anything like that. I just mean let's just call them the stronger sites versus the new sites. That they more easily cross over this threshold, maybe not immediately, but certainly quicker. They are different than the new sites. They have more pages, they have more traffic. While we're looking at those things as we're making those distinctions, here's another thing to keep in mind. Looking at the index project, of the 8 pages that were indexed over the 126 days, and I'm going to take the home page out of that because let's just talk about the inner pages. So of the 7 inner pages that index, only 5 were both rendered simple HTML and JavaScript. Now, if you aren't familiar with JavaScript, it's a much more complex framework for a website where the content that it gets pulled into the page gets pulled from somewhere else. And in order for all of that to be read, like you and I can see it on the page, but in order for Google to see it, the JavaScript rendering has to be on. And you don't find this content in the code because it's being pulled in. The JavaScript, the little script, has all the instructions in there. Okay, so it's reconstitutes by Google's JavaScript rendering. And when that's working, the world is golden. And what we discovered in 2021 was rendered indexing is not always on. Again, is it broken? Or is Google just cutting costs? They aren't saying, but if you're building sites and building them on a JavaScript framework, maybe you want to rethink that because Google will shut off rendered indexing without so much as a by your leave. And those pages that you worked on, that you tucked away all your wonderful little SEO beautifulness, well, to Google, it won't see it because if it's not rendering, basically to Google, that page, whatever is not in simple HTML, it's blank. It might look like a piece of paper with holes in it. And Google doesn't rank blank pages. All that boosting SEO that you stuck in there is to all extents and purposes is not there. So if you're not testing your JavaScript sites, do yourself a favor. I'll even share with you what I use in the HTML if you want to detect if JavaScript is on. And you can use it on a very inconspicuous page so you'll know when it's on and when it's not. So when things start to go to hell in a handbasket, and that happens about a third of the year, you might get called on the carpet. You might want to go in there with some data that could just about probably save your job as long as you weren't the one who decided to rely on JavaScript to begin with. So word to the wise, don't leave all your SEO inside your JavaScript. So looking over the horizon, what's next? Well, over the break, I mapped out a couple of indexation tests in an effort in order to determine where the index threshold is and is there more than one way to jump over it. So wish me luck. 2 things. If you want to talk more about the indexation project, I've been asked to do an Ask Me Anything over at IMG, the Internet Marketing Gold for Kyle Roof's group on January 25th. So if you're a member of IMG, you probably get a notice about it, but come on down. And for those who want to know a little bit more about, I mentioned it, the last 2 episodes, on the Forensic SEO live training. So you can message me either via LinkedIn or American Way Media's Facebook page, or if it's just as easy to you, email confessions@AmericanWayMedia.com. It's a 4-week live training where I unpack my process of figuring out why things are the way they are. And we sort of do it. It's a very hands-on, bring your stuff and we dissect it. So it'll be my first live training. There'll be a Skype, I forgot to mention, there'll be a Skype group where we can have questions and discussions in between sessions. So it starts on Thursday, January 20th. And so if you contact me, I will send you the link so you can read all about it. If you want to get in, you'll know how. All right, well, that is it for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you come back next week. I'll be talking about micromanaging, how to recognize it if you're doing it. And I am talking to you, independent business owner, because I know the SEO in your life isn't doing it and most likely wishes you would stop. So again, my personal thanks to everyone who answered the call to complete last year's survey to help make 2022 Confessions more useful. Becoming a sponsor is something you want to do. Go to, and I'm going to give you the short link, bit.ly. It's bit.ly/confessions sponsor. All one word with 2 S's in the middle. Well, thank you so much. If you haven't settled on one source for your podcast, you can Google Confessions of an SEO. You can't miss it. All of us stand to make more business and success together when both the SEOs and the business owners understand each other better. It's been my pleasure to be your host, and I'll see you in the SERPs.